Alrighty. So with that, I think we can get started. Everyone, welcome to another meetup of Women of Solid. I'm very appreciative that Virginia gave me the opportunity, even though I'm no longer with Interrupt, to have this, and I'm so excited. Just to let everyone know, we did have a little bit of technical difficulties with Timea, so she will not be presenting this time, but don't worry, she will be presenting in the future. I know we were all looking forward to it, so we all have to keep our eyes out for that one. But with that, we still have Maria and we have Sharon to do presentations. And just to before we get into that, I just want to say a cool thing about what Women of Solid is and why Virginia was so amazing in making this. Um, Technology space doesn't always have a space for women, and there's not always a lot of us. And Virginia realized that and saw that there was a need and created Women of Solid. And with that, we've seen it grow. And this is our third meetup. It is super exciting, super rewarding to see how much it's grown, how much people engage in the Gitter chat, and just how much we all can get out of this and how much we can learn from one another. And so I just want to say thank you again, Virginia, for making this. And I'm so excited to hear about the presentations that are going to be happening within the next coming minutes. So, Maria, you are first to go. And I know you wanted to just give us a summary of the CSS and just give us some info. So I will
Okay.
give it over to you.
Thank you very much for everything. What I suggest is, because my laptop does a lot of noise, I shall stop my camera, if you don't mind, while I speak. And
That's
then
totally
let me say a few introductory words. We had between the end of January and today, we had 4 or 5 meetings that I will show you, and I've sent them to Virginia. They will be on our meetup page anyway, with all the links. And I'll just go very quickly through some of them so that you can have a look and tell you the general spirit of what the situation is now. So I am sharing, I believe. So this is the page that Virginia will link with the rest of the material, the video, etc. So at the end of January, we had this presentation that you will see the slides in detail on your own, but I can also scan through very quickly now, which explained a little bit how CSS internals are, how the code is written, and how to install it and configure it. Then we had a meeting inspired by the January Solid World, where Sarben presented the specifications version 09. And I got a bit worried because the impact they might have on existing implementations of Solid servers were not discussed. So we had a meeting here that Sir Tim joined and Ruben joined, and Timea was there as well, and so Sharon was there as well. So we had a good discussion about how to listen to what specifications exactly say before implementing, and how to also listen to what the needs of the community were that led to implementation choices and feed them back to the specifications. I'll show you the details. And finally, we had on Monday, yesterday, we had a meeting with Ruben and Joachim, who is chief developer of CSS, because in my case at CERN, we have a test instance of CSS, which is very frustrating for me. And the reason is, I'll show you 2 examples. At the time of the presentation of the 31st of January, my CSS instance, can you see here the URI, css.app.send.ch/Dimou, sorry, it's supposed to be my pod, and I could see that my profile and its directory and its files were visible there, whereas today, if I try to do exactly the same, CSS app.send.ch/Dimou, it gives me resource not found. This is very frustrating for a laboratory like mine with 40,000 users because it cannot be so unstable. Nevertheless, I go back to the other material. I wanted to tell you the following. If you don't know CSS at all, then let me go very quickly through the slides of that event of the 31st of January to give you an idea of how it looks. So now you should be able to see a blue screen with slides, right? Is that correct? Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to skip the introduction for the newcomers in my audience there who wanted to see a little bit of examples of solid servers and how they interact with the applications, because this is not something that you need, it's something that you already know. So here is a bit of introduction for the general public that you can obtain a pod and a web ID using a local instance of CSS, that it is more recent than NSS. And this was my main reason for advertising in the policy document that I'm trying to get approved at CERN, the use of CSS, because NSS is very well tried and used and experienced, but it started a long time ago, whereas CSS, having been released only in August 2021, it has all the qualifications to be aware of the latest and greatest versions of the specifications and adhere to them. So here is some information about who sponsors CSS and who develops it. You know that. So the good thing about CSS is that it is very modular, and the developers, namely Ruben and Joachim, say very often that the greatest advantage is that you can configure it any way you want. In fact, it comes with a configuration file that allows you to choose your installation options. Here is the tools that have been used for developing it, npm and TypeScript. It is a very good quality of the code. My student who got to grips with the code is very much positive about the approach. And the fact that one can write local extensions using the component.js. So there is a good thing about it, that you can decide if you want only pod and ID, or if you want to add your own applications that interface with the server. It does not have a UI. This is one of the reasons why it is so difficult to get it endorsed by the community. Also because one can use Penny, but Penny is also not a fully operational quality product. It even contains the Vincent Tunru developer's name in the URL, which is a bit intimidating for a very operational environment with impatient users. So here there are some slides. You probably know all of that stuff concerning the way components.js behaves. So it basically allows you to bring in your modifications in a configuration space instead of editing the source code. This is very good because you can add like Lego plots and not have to rebuild the entire code. This is very good design. So this is again the great advantage for applying extensions that you need. Based on linked data, that comes without saying. And then this is a comparative table that says that if you didn't have components JS, you would need to edit all these files on the left and apply changes. Whereas with the new approach, you can confine the space where your alterations of the code live. So the advantages is again and again the flexibility and customization, the fact that you don't need to touch the source code, the fact that everyone in the community can contribute to CSS, and the limitations is that you have to be knowledgeable in order to understand where things are, as the configuration file has a lot of nested other dependencies. There is not enough documentation because the product is recent. It's 6 months old, more or less. And a newbie needs to reserve really time to learn to use it. Somebody's reshuffling pages. So in terms of performance and compatibility, the evaluation results are very positive. And there are no formal figures on performance, but this would, of course, fluctuate a lot depending on how many pods you need to fetch information from. So if I want to cut the long story short, the situation is that we did not manage to integrate the CSS instance at CERN with our single sign-on. But in the meeting we had yesterday with Ruben and Joachim, who are the chief developers, a fantastic news came up. That was that the CSS developers find very attractive the idea of integrating in CSS the incorporation of any SSO-like ID provider, which means that you don't need any intermediate other software, any key clock proxy or something. And that opens the possibility for CSS to become not only more popular in general, but more easily integratable to our environment with the CERN single sign-on. This is very important because security is an extremely high preoccupation. And the great victory from the meeting where Sharon and Timea had also joined, that took place, I can't remember now, on Friday, I believe. I'm confused again. No, on Monday. It doesn't matter. Is that everybody agreed. We had Sarven for the specifications. We had Michiel for the testing suite. And we had Ruben and Tim. And everybody agreed that the specifications don't cover the edge cases for which CSS went its own way. And the test suite has been, what can I say, accusing in a way CSS for non-compliance to the specifications. But after that discussion, the good news is that the specifications will be revisited to understand if such edge cases are really not only edge cases, but they have to be foreseen in the specs, which means that the gap between what the specs say, what the implementation does, and therefore the failing tests will be bridged. The problem will be solved. This is something that is not a finished business. We have to discuss and again dozens of times. But nevertheless, the willingness exists to solve these problems and to have good products and good specs. So basically, that's what I wanted to tell you. And if you look at the page that contains all these links, the summaries are very brief, and you will see exactly what we discussed. Right. That is all, I think.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Maria. And everyone can hear me for the most part. If you can, just okay. Thank you, Anna. But thank you so much for that, Maria. It's really great to see the pros and the cons, or just kind of like the limitations of how CSS is operating, and just understanding how we all can make it a better environment. Like you said, since it is something that is new and it is fresh, this is a great opportunity for us all to make it something better and to give it the attention and the care and the time that it needs. With that, I hope that everyone is able to learn the different ways that they can use it, and they can get access to it, and they can learn how maybe you are the solution to those limitations, and there's some ways that you can help make that better. So super excited. Thank you again so much, Maria, for taking the time to do that. And with that being said, hopefully everyone can still see me. Everyone's cameras are blinking out on me. So, but okay, Kira's camera popped back and she nodded. So I feel like we're in a good space. But next, we're going to have Sharon come on and talk to us about SolidOS. I'm pretty sure I have not heard anything recently about it, so I am like hungry to know what's going on with it. And one thing I want to say, I don't know if everyone knows, but like it is super early where she's at, so I'm going to give her a huge shout out for being awake, for being present, because I would not be. But thank you, and Sharon, the mic is all yours.
Thanks, Marrelle. And thanks, Maria. It's always great to get feedback. So yeah, thanks for all that you're doing, and providing the feedback as you run into things while you're using it. Okay, so this is my first time using Google Slides. So I'm a little nervous, but I think I'll keep my camera off too. Maybe that'll help. So I think I have to. I don't know how this is gonna.
Sounds good, but it sounds a little glitchy. I'm not sure if that's for everyone.
How about
the sound? Yeah, the sound. Speak slowly. It will be okay, I think.
Okay. So what I'll do is, let's see. Okay. So right. So I haven't been around as much the last few months because I was working and all that, and Timea has been involved, and she's been doing a wonderful job just keeping things going and refactoring, and the team has been very, very busy. And so I'm just gonna go through. If you guys have any questions, I'll try to answer them. But Timea has said that she will be happy to answer if you want to put it in the chat, or you want to put it in and get her later. She'll be happy to answer any question that comes up. So this is since the authentication, because I believe that Timea had already did a presentation after maybe the last Women of Solid, which unfortunately I wasn't able to attend. So in November, we began planning the SolidOS strategy, which that was led by Timea, and it was great just to see what we should focus on, and we're still really in the middle of that, but November is when it started. And then Forms has been around for quite a while, but he made some changes and gave us a presentation so that we can all figure out, how we can use it, and that was really great and exciting to see. And I think there's going to be a lot more to come with that, which is, I'm really excited about that. In December, we started refactoring the code. It was really great. Because it's been developed over time, SolidOS, some of the code is just, in a few different places. And Timea has led that, just moving things around so that it's smoother and it's more understandable. And that's just started. There's more to come on that as well. Jeff started building, and some of you may have seen the website that he did for Solid, and that was amazing. And he's still working on it right now, and I can't wait. He's doing SolidOS the same as he is. I wish I could show you here, but it would probably take too much time to switch over. But yeah, and that is going to go with forms, and there's just lots of excitement with how that's all going to come together, and the possibility of building these websites with linked data is just fascinating. And then also with this development, I think is what led to this profile spec team kickoff, which that's Virginia and Timea and Jeff. And this is going to really help web developers understand where to put things. And again, thanks, Timea. Again, if you have any questions about that, I don't know a lot about it, but you can ask Timea or Virginia or even Jeff in the SolidOS chat. Or any chat. I think he's across the board. So January, February, still refactoring is, actually was finalized. And then Tim made a whole bunch of changes with the chat so that it's working smoother now. And that's been released by Alan. And also we've started looking at the CI of the SolidOS stack. And there's more to come with that, which I'll share with you in a second. So this is our strategy. This is what came out of what Timea had started in November. And I guess everyone can read it. I'll read through it just in case. SolidOS, libs, documentation, and apps. It showcases the possibility of the Solid technology to be used by people, particularly collaborating in organizations. It does this by developing features that the Solid project organization and its component projects like SolidOS and CSS needs first and foremost. And they're used to manage the organization, showcase what it can do. And once it's achieved, then we'll be eating our own dog food and lead by example, and we'll present what we have to other organizations. Sorry. Okay, and what's up next? So just more of the refactoring, really making the SolidOS code base streamlined. The CI, so that when we build, it also goes smoothly. More documentation so that people and developers know how to use it. Very soon, we're going to do a knowledge transfer on testing, and also even explain testing. So if anyone wants to come to that, I think it's going to be good stuff. Angelo will be leading that. And UX and UI, we want to talk to Maria and find out, like I said before, about it's just so great that you're using the system and you have a lot of great feedback. And Timea and I want to talk to you about that and figure out how we can move your suggestions and put them into SolidOS. And what I had mentioned before about the components and forms coming together, I just really can't wait. I mean, I'm on the edge of my seat waiting to see how all that plays out. And Jeff is working, I think, probably night and day on it. And also the profile spec should be released soon. I don't know exactly the status on that, if anyone wants to chime in. So I just want to thank you. And again, if you have any questions, definitely just put them in chat. You can ask now, and I will try to answer them. So should I?
Thank you, Sharon. That was so kind of you. And thanks to Timea, transfer the thanks to Timea.
Absolutely.
Our meeting with me, when is it supposed to be?
So we'll set that up really soon. I'm not sure exactly how can we go about doing that's the one thing I was going to talk to Timea about in the next few days is how to go about scheduling it between the three of us since we don't have the same calendar. Is there a time that's better for you?
Well, I think you have to say what the time is in, where did you say, in Melbourne? Because it can, we should take this offline in the Gita chats and find a date and time that is really not 3 o'clock in the morning for you.
Yeah, that sounds good. After this, we'll get in touch with you, Maria, and we'll find a time because we
Okay,
would like to get on that.
no problem. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. I can stop
Awesome.
sharing, but
So
I
with
think
that,
no, yeah. Sorry, Marrelle.
oh yeah, Sharon. No, Sharon, you go.
I just wasn't sure if I should leave my screen up if I'm gonna present again right away, or if someone else is presenting before me.
No, it would be you again. But with that, does anyone else have any questions? And if actually, I think because the audio was glitchy for a few of us, if it's easiest for everyone or the best option, I believe, is that we use the chat and Sharon and Timea can answer questions in the chat just to make it easier for everyone so that everyone can see the question, read the question, and get it answered in a public forum. But with that, Sharon, if it's okay with you, you can move on to the next presentation.
Thanks, Marrelle. Do that. So just be 1 second, just getting everything organized.
Yes, no worries. Take your time.
Thank you. Okay. Um, so this really isn't a formal presentation. It's just more a talk to tell you about something that I want to do and to get everyone's feedback. So I'm sorry if I'm a little slow. Oh, sorry. So I'll start by telling you a little bit about myself. For those who don't know me, I'm not sure. I think everyone knows me here, but just in case, I thought I would give you guys a little um, background. And I'm also going to talk to you about my motivation for starting this project and some of my ideas about how to go about it. And I'm hoping that others will be interested and also want to give their feedback. And so, I'm sorry. A few years ago, let me just, sorry, I'm not doing very well. Please forgive me. Um, so a few years ago, about 6 or so now, I think, or more actually, I was at a point in my life to start working again after having kids. And as well, I received my first iPad as a present from my husband. And when I went to go set up the iPad, it asked me if I wanted to save my data to the cloud. And at this time, I was actually unsure where that actually was. And I wondered, could it really be secure? And so this, is anyone giving me feedback about, or someone's just asking a question in the chat? Let's see.
I think, Marrelle, you have your hand up, but that might have been accidental.
Oh, I think it's oh, my hand is up. I don't know why the Jitsi thing keeps moving the toolbar at the bottom, so I keep trying to press the it was probably when I was trying to press the mute button that it forced me to press the hands up. So I will take that down. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. So with the iPad, then and wondering if this was secure, it led me to do my master's in distributed computing, and this interest I had in data security, it led me to a professor who had an option for a project on Solid, so that I could do my thesis, and which in the end, or maybe the beginning, depending on how you look at it, it led me to SolidOS. And linked data was new to me. I came here for privacy and the hopes of having control of our data. But through working with Tim, I learned more about what Solid is about and about the concept of like you can do anything with anything when it comes to your data. And this is really what has inspired me. So I was excited about the possibilities of Solid from the beginning. But over the last 6 months or so, it just really seems to be coming together. And there's so much work being done by so many. And one big thing for me is seeing the specification becoming more defined each week. And lately, seeing the forms and the solid UI components in action from Jeff and also CSS. I mean, it just really feels like things are coming together. And I'm so encouraged and inspired by it. But I really think that we are at a point to start exploring how we can get even more people using Solid and find out what users would want to do with the power and control of data that Solid offers. So what I was thinking, and this is really where I'm open to suggestions, is my initial thoughts are that users have some idea about the issues around data privacy. And I think they do care, but they don't know what they can do about it. So they just do things like click accept all on the cookies or use Facebook and just, I think they just try not to think about the consequences. But I need to find this out to be sure. And once we find this out, I think that we'll be in a better place to know how to proceed on educating people about how, Solid is a solution for this. And these are some things I thought of doing is find out, educate people, survey them, and then in the end, really do a usability study. And what I really am thinking, like, these are some of the questions that I thought I'd start with. It's like, how much do people understand about data privacy? Are they concerned? Do they even want a choice? And then when it comes to educating them, I had some ideas around maybe a commercial that really survey them. But before we even survey them, have a commercial that highlights the problems that we have, like some data breaches, and then just kind of excite them and tell them about Solid, and then after that, ask them, now that they know about this, well, what do you think about it? Because I think if we just start asking a survey, maybe they wouldn't really understand or have an idea. So I think that maybe we should tell them first. And once we kind of get that, then I think maybe take it to the next step. Well, have they heard about Solid? What do they understand about even the restrictions of the data silos that we have today? What are their pain points with the apps that they're using? And also, if they could do anything with their data, like what would it be? If they could really start thinking even further and outside the box of the silos and systems that we have today. So really, this is kind of my approach, at high level, what I'm thinking of. Just find out what people know and think about when it comes to data and their data, and see what they want to be able to do that they can't do now, and then move to building something to get even more feedback so that we can use it to build more solid apps with that feedback in mind. And so, again, like, this wasn't really a presentation as such, but it's really to ask, hey, I mean, is anyone else here interested? Do you have any suggestions or feedback on how I was thinking about going about it? Is there anything you can add to it? And Timea is going to help support me. And we created this Gitter room called UX Research, which I've linked to here, where, if this does excite you and you think this is where we need to go and you want to be involved, or even you just have some suggestions about my approach to going about it, you can comment here. and we'll take that feedback on board. And then I was hoping, I am waiting to build this survey in the forms and the component system that Jeff and Tim had built, because I think that it'd be exciting to even tell people about, hey, they're taking a survey on this on this system, and their data can be saved to their own pod, and they can just share it with me and take that sharing away. So I really think that it would be great if I could do that. And so so that's why it's taking a little bit longer. And then also, once we start doing this, if everyone thinks it's the right thing and we're on board, well, hey, can we use our network to actually reach more people, to survey more people and find out what they think. And that's it. Oh, sorry. And that's it, really. Thanks for listening to me. And definitely, if you're interested in my presentation and doing something like this, please get in touch on the Getter chat that Timea and I created. And yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sharon, for this presentation and for giving me updates and sharing this. I actually put in the chat, sign me up. I would love to help with social. I'm not inclined on the other aspects, but getting this out and getting people's voices, out there, love to help and support that. But aside from that, it seems like, again, we can ask some questions in the chat and keep that open for Sharon, Timea, and Maria. I would say, I think because of kind of a little bit of the technical difficulty, maybe we can transfer those questions over to the Getter chat and maybe moderate it from there, just to make sure that everybody can see and get the questions and aren't getting, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be better in the Getter chat. I'm in favor of to the Getter chat.
All right, sounds good. I think we can do that for everyone. I know that I was having a few issues, and I know a few other people as well. So if we want to hop off and go on to Getter, but before that, first off, let's give everyone a round of applause for their presentations. It's amazing that we all got to be here. We all got to do this together, and I think that this is super important because, first off, I think hearing about Sharon and Timea's idea of making this opportunity, it's the first time I'm seeing I'm seeing women really getting a movement and getting some momentum going, and I love that they're leading something that's super awesome. It's super exciting. That shows so much promise for the Solid ecosystem and the Solid space. And also with that, I want to say a huge thank you again. I cannot stress enough to Virginia for setting this up, and Kira as well for just making this such a great opportunity in space, and for their quick responses in the Getter chat, as well as just making sure everyone feels comfortable and prepared for their presentations before the event. I think that is really amazing that they both take the time to do that, because I know they both do work, and I feel like all of us work and we all deserve a shout out. So I hope everyone has a great day. This is just the start of so many great things, as I always say during the end of them. So I hope everyone has a great day. Let's please continue this on Getter, keep the conversation moving. And Amelia, I see that you do have a question. Maybe we can keep it and put it in the Getter in case people start hopping out already. But aside from that, let's give a round of applause to Kira and Virginia. Boom, boom, boomity, boom, boom, because they are amazing. And but let's give them shout outs, and let's have a great day. Us ladies got to stick together, and we got to prosper in the world. And the only way we do that is we stick together and uplift one another. So
can I say a little something before we?
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Oh no, I couldn't hear you, Anna.
Oh,
thank you. Looking forward to the next time.
Yeah.
Same
I just
here.
want to
Thank
say
you.
it is so exciting to see so many women working on this together. I've never been a part of something like this. So it's really, really exciting. And I feel like I know a lot of you from videos and from Solid Worlds and from watching these in the past. So it's exciting to meet you all in person.
Nice to meet you,
Yes,
Anna.
it's a
Thank
pleasure.
you, Anna.
And thanks again.
Yes, thank you so much for that, Anna. That means so much. And
Yeah.
you're never limited to just these. If you ever want to meet up or we're here, we're around.
Yeah, I wanted to say just one thing. Whenever you want to have one of these meetups just randomly without having to wait for us to gather several presentations or anything, whenever you have something you want to discuss, just drop it in the Gitter and we can have one of these every month or every couple weeks or whenever you feel like it. Just feel like you can like just ask for these meetups whenever you feel like you have something to discuss instead of just waiting every few months or whenever I can summon the energy to gather everyone around.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great, Virginia.
Thank you.
I love
Okay.
Virginia.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
Thank you so much
yes,
for
good night
being
to
here
you.
and have a great evening and this was great. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.